Thank you for coming on the show. We're gonna kick this thing off. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what interests you, man.
Mark Anderson. I have a general finance background. I've been in the business of finance for a decade and a half at this point. I run a podcast called Amigos PC, where we talk about comedy, cinema, and crypto. Crypto is a huge interest in my life, especially now with the current bull run that we're in, possibly shifting into a bear run. Just really all depends on your view and perspective of it. But yeah, a lot of my focus right now is essentially around crypto, hobbies, lifestyle, getting investments going, if you want to call crypto investing, and then also starting a farm, a mining farm.
Great, man. So I have a lot of questions for you. I have many conversations with my buddies and whatnot, and I was remember in January, Doge was at 6 cents. I was looking at it. I was like, man, I should buy a bunch of shares. They're so cheap. I could possibly make some money. I bought some. Nothing happened for like 3 or 4 months. I sold it. Like 2 days later, it freaking skyrocketed, and I was so pissed. So then I bought in high, and the dumb son of a bitch Elon Musk went on SNL and said something stupid, and I lost a bunch of money. And I was like, "You idiot! Damn it!" So that's just a little backstory about my fallout with crypto. I always talk to my friends about crypto. They think it's stupid. They think that the Federal Reserve is going to take it over. They think that the government's going to take it over. I tried to explain to them that it is decentralized. They cannot take your assets, as far as I know. Crypto. What can you speak on that a little bit about the Federal Reserve and what's going on with crypto and all that stuff, Bitcoin and whatever?
I mean, for the best of my knowledge, absolutely. First and foremost, though, I just got to put this out there for everybody. I'm not a financial advisor.
Yep.
You need to do your own research when it comes to, putting money into cryptocurrency and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, yes, cryptocurrency is decentralized. There's perspectives on that are kind of not kind of out there, but that are out there that kind of give an argument to that some of these cryptocurrencies that are being generated and thousands by the day at this point are coming to the market. Some of them are centralized. And when you kind of dig into it, the arguments start to become a little more valid. So you just got to do your research on which one you're actually getting into. When it comes to the government's involvement, I mean, the government could do whatever they want. And at some point, they are definitely going to intervene, because essentially a lot of the potential investors and the people that are dumping money in left and right now into cryptocurrency, the government could see and or not see do a lot of different things as to putting in a regulation, trying to regulate it as best as they possibly can. They've already started to tax it, so they're treating it as capital gains. So essentially, if they have their hand into the stock market, it could be levied into. Like a lot of exchanges now have to do what they call KYC. And if the exchange wants to be a part of the United States, they have to go through this process. And KYC is basically know your customer. And that's in order for them to generate a 1099 to you so the government can tax you on it. So the government's already involved. If people are going to try to use that argument as to, well, the government's just going to step in and take things away, like they're already involved in starting to treat it as an asset that would be on a tradable stock market like the New York Stock Exchange. And not to that extent that they are, but the SEC is now involved with a company called Ripple. They hold a cryptocurrency called XRP, and when that lawsuit, it's not really, they're not like, they didn't take him to court or anything like that, but essentially they are suing them from a government standpoint to a company. And with that company, depending on how this lawsuit plays out, there could be laws imposed or regulations imposed for how a cryptocurrency can get started, and essentially how it becomes something that the government can control.
What about Bitcoin? Are they grandfathered in? Can they still try to take control of that?
It with control to cryptocurrency, in reality, at the end of the day, no one can really control the cryptocurrency as a whole. Bitcoin, though, the real threat with Bitcoin is not the government. The government, really, they can impose regulations and laws, and that's going to give some control to them and or protections to us as the people. But at the end of the day, it is a peer-to-peer free financial forum for people to trade Bitcoin back and forth without imposing a third party, aka a bank or an exchange, even though some people go through cryptocurrency exchanges. And control wise, no. But what is a risk for Bitcoin, especially in the market that we're in right now, China has had quite a bit of the actual proof of work hash power for quite a long time. That is starting to change with everything that China is imposing when it comes to mining and cryptocurrency in general.
What does that mean? The proof of
work.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So essentially, that's cryptocurrency mining. You get a mining rig in Bitcoin's example. Most of it is called ASIC mining, and it's just a machine specifically built, a computer basically built to do a bunch of math problems. And at that point, they run these math problems through to validate a blockchain that is what Bitcoin is built off of. And they essentially mine the machine and put it into your cryptocurrency wallet. So that is proof of work.
Well, okay. Why the hell do these people keep stealing all the graphics cards for video gamers? Video gamers are pissed off, and I'm one of them. I am pissed off. I'm tired of these assholes taking all my damn graphics cards. I haven't been able to get a 30 series in like a year or more. And the 2060 Super, I have a 2060 Super. That thing has doubled in price for a used one. And what's up with that, man? It's not fair for us.
For the gamer, you're absolutely right. And NVIDIA is taking steps right now to create a segregated market for both mining and video gamers. I don't think cryptocurrency miners are going to care either way, and graphics will still be hard to find. But essentially, NVIDIA is putting in hard stops on some of the graphics cards to make them more attractive to video gamers versus cryptocurrency miners. But
I think they're full of crap.
Yeah. Well, they're trying.
They say they're trying, but I'm sure they're making a killing right now.
Oh yeah,
because they're selling. They can't even. I can't even get a graphics card. It sells out in seconds.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't buy them. And then they said, like you were saying, they try to put a stop on it, and then the damn people cracked it like in a day.
Yeah, that's gonna happen with any nerf that they put on a graphics card. That is gonna happen. But proof of work, to answer your question from the beginning, proof of work is the reason why graphics cards are gone right now. Ethereum's price is another reason. Like, there's multiple factors into why GPUs are extremely hard to find. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, you just gotta diligently get out there and try to find one. I will tell you this: I have been having a lot of success on secondhand apps,
Yeah.
getting certain graphics cards. Because unfortunately, you may be pissed at me too. I'm one of those people that are actually in search, buying cards, trying to avoid all the scalper prices as much as possible, and getting different cards. Luckily, I've been pretty fortunate again with secondhand apps. Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp. OfferUp just recently bought the other one. I can't remember.
Let go.
Yeah, Let Go.
Like,
Things like apps in marketplaces like that. I kind of would stay away from Craigslist just because it is real scammy. But beyond that, yes, it just going alternate routes, and then instead of trying to find the manufacturer or a Best Buy or big box stores, things like that. Another good way to find a graphics card right now, whether you're a miner or a gamer, specifically gamers, with the way your question was geared, would be to find your local mom and pop computer shop and just build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
I know that's a tall order to ask for someone that might be an introvert, but definitely that could get you a card easily. Honestly, I have one that I just recently started a relationship with that's maybe 20 miles from my house right now, and as soon as they get a graphics card, they're going to let me know, and hopefully I'll have the funds available so I can just come in the store and pick it up.
Do you think that they'll give it to you at a retail price? Or
It is a store, so I would be subject to what their retail price is plus tax and things like that. Since they have to funnel through sales taxes, they can't really increase and scalp the card as if like a scalper would on eBay or something.
Yeah. So what can you mine with any kind of graphics cards, or does it have to be high end? It seems to be like the Nvidias are getting stolen, not stolen, but raped from the gamers.
Yeah.
And because
so obviously high end cards are more efficient than low end cards, but I have cards that were manufactured 5 years ago, and they're trucking along right now on Ethereum's blockchain, mining Ethereum. So, I got 580s, I have a 5600 there, and they're all doing their thing, just getting, going through and mining for me very efficiently as for an AMD card. But yeah, NVIDIA has perfected the Ethereum blockchain for the most part on their card. And that's why that they're in high demand, because they're just that efficient.
Are they using the Nvidias for the Ethereum or Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others?
So Bitcoin really doesn't have any blockchain, not blockchain, any GPUs that are really mining it anymore, because it's just so ASIC driven. And Ethereum is heading that way. But
What do you mean?
No, but so Ethereum itself is already starting to get a huge hash rate of just ASIC miners on it. So, but it is compatible to GPU mining, where Bitcoin, it's not compatible to do that anymore. The hash rate's just too high. The difficulty and the DAG size, which essentially is the memory load, it's just geared towards ASIC miners. And ASIC miners, again, are just a specific machine built just to mine whatever that algorithm is. In this example, Bitcoin, and that's all it does. Once Bitcoin is not a thing anymore, that machine is valueless and worthless completely.
So to be clear, Bitcoin, they are using Nvidias to mine Bitcoin?
No. I can definitely say no.
Really?
For the most part, yes, I would say no.
What are they using to mine Bitcoin? The Acer thing, or what do you?
ASIC miner, yeah. So
Sorry,
that is the majority of it.
You have to speak in layman's terms, because I know Bitcoin, but I don't know the technical side of it.
Yeah.
So you said you do Bitcoin mining or that type of deal. How does it look like? Is it like a regular rig like this, or is it like just like a motherboard, like with graphics cards and several motherboards lined up? You know what I mean? Like, does it look? What does it look like?
So I don't mine Bitcoin, but I do mine Ethereum. But the rig essentially, is a little different than what you would get on a Bitcoin miner, because the Bitcoin miner is just one piece of equipment and that's it. So on a mining rig, a GPU mining rig specifically, essentially you have a frame, not like the computer one that you have in the backdrop there,
Mm-hmm.
but it is just, it could be wood, could be steel, plastic, anything along those lines. It is GPUs in a row on one shelf, a motherboard below, and you technically don't even need the frame itself. You can jerry rig it some other way or fashion. But yeah, GPUs are in a row. They're all connected via, like either like a PCI riser or some other form of cables connected, 8-pin, 6-pin, just depending on what you really requires. And then it all goes into a power supply and it all connects to the motherboard through the PCI riser. And most cases, miners will look specifically for a motherboard that can hold, 6, 7, 8, 12, 19 GPUs at a time. Yeah. So essentially they just have one motherboard and then the rest of the GPUs spread out.
That's not a normal motherboard, right? Because my motherboard is like yay big. I built my computer, so I know a little bit about that stuff. But I mean, you can't hook up 15 GPUs to one motherboard, can you? I lost you, Mark. Can you hear me? I lost Mark.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Could you hear me? I lost you for a second after I was asking you about the motherboards.
No, yeah. So with the motherboards, there are mining specific motherboards out there. But for like a normal motherboard, no, you can't do that.
Okay.
You might be able to run multiple graphics cards on like a gaming motherboard or like a regular motherboard that would come into a regular computer rig. However, some miners have found advantages in using some gaming boards that do support 6 graphics cards at a time, and a 6 graphic card mining rig, essentially not specifically right now, but back before our bull run currently, that is something that would have been very affordable to build. Affordable, with quotations.
Only a couple of $1,000s.
Yeah. And again, before the bull run, there were a lot of cards that could have been affordable to a point where you could build a rig, under $1,000, $1,500, and essentially start mining and get a return on your investment fairly quick.
What is a normal pull in for a day? Like 30, 40 cents, 50 cents, $1?
So that really depends on how many cards you have going at one time, or essentially, what you're particularly mining. With me, I'm mining a few different coins, one being Ethereum. Currently, if I were to average it out, I probably do about $60 a day.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I have almost a gigahash worth of hash rate, so it's that's not normal. Usually, your at-home miner would have something under maybe half a gigahash for the most part, and most people that are gamers and starting to dabble into mining, they only have a couple cards at a time, and you're maybe getting $2-3 a day if you mine Ethereum.
Do you have like a whole freaking battleship like with tons of them everywhere, or is it like just like a modest room, or do you have chingos of graphics cards all over the place?
Oh no, so it's a modest room for the most part. A very small room, similar to maybe like a walk-in closet. I only have right now about 13 graphics cards that are chugging along and getting that gigahash. So I'm actually just a little under gigahash, but
that's not bad.
Yeah, so it's not like it's a huge amount. But it's because I'm having the same problem that gamers are having, is I can't get my hands on enough graphics cards.
When you got them all hooked up, is it hooked up to like Windows? Like, is it do you have a regular display like a computer? Or is there some?
Yeah, I can hook a display up to it if I want to, but I do normally do not have a display hooked up to it.
Well, how do you know? How do you know it's running? How do you hook it up? How do you actually mine it? You know, is there an app or is there like some kind of website? Did you know? How do you actually know how to hook into mining that crap?
Well, you have a couple different questions that you just asked there. So
Yeah.
the first one is I don't run it on Windows, but you can run a mining rig on Windows. Just a thing on that. I do use a third-party software called Hive OS,
Hmm.
and essentially this software, I install it onto an SSD card or a thumb drive. I
Hmm.
hook that up to the rig, either via USB or I connect it through SSD connections. And then it has the operating software on there. And essentially as soon as I turn the rig on, it auto boots and gets into the software and starts mining immediately.
Nice. So you don't have to mess with it. You put it on the drive, hook the drive into the sucker, and boom, you go.
Oh, I wish it was that easy. But that, in theory, yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what's supposed to happen. But the lovely thing about GPU mining is that they can be very temperamental at times. And they're not 100% stable all the time. Now, they can be stable for long periods of time, but it's at some point, you got to bring the rig down, you got to clean it out, you got to do your regular root maintenance because it is a machine at that point. It's not a regular computer. It's a machine that needs to be maintained like you would in a
Yeah.
factory. So
Hmm.
you got to bring it down, you got to bring it back up. Sometimes it doesn't like to be stable when you bring it back up, so you got to figure out, okay, well, I got to mess with some of my settings just to make sure I can get it stable again, and then put my settings back to where it was before I took it down.
How do you know how much you're getting if you're not hooked up to a screen where you can't monitor
Oh,
anything?
well, so the third party uh software that I use, it does have a web GUI to where I can actually pull it up
From
to
another PC or something?
another PC.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
we're doing this on. I usually use to.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll tell me is something wrong, what's
Yeah.
going on, is something overheating. The a lot of different aspects with it. If you guys end up going to, I have an actual link if you want to put,
Yeah.
fill that.
Well,
But with Hive OS, it essentially a lot of the headache that you would have on Windows is taken away by utilizing the system. And
cool,
for the
man.
most part, if you're a small miner, like let's say you're a gamer and you just want to dabble into mining for the time being, it's absolutely free.
Mm,
So there are, as you grow and you start to become like an actual farm, you do have to pay for the services, but even then, it's still kind of cheap. And they have alternate dev options that you can utilize, or if you want to help, refer and get other people to use the system, they pay you for that. Small amounts, $10 or something like that.
yeah.
So, but there are other ways to make sure that even if you are growing at a substantial pace, that you can get it for free still.
Cool. So what do you say about the all this crap about oh, it's wasting too much electricity. It's killing the planet. We're flying around on freaking jumbo jets and driving motorcades and, driving gigantic yachts, but we're trying to save the planet. So we don't want you mining Bitcoin anymore.
Actually, like, especially with everything that happened with Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live, like a lot of it frustrated me because a majority of the hash rate, even though China holds a substantial amount of it, it is decreasing daily. The big miners here that mine Bitcoin in the United States already have initiatives in place to be on like some type of renewable resource, whether that be like, water through a dam or solar power. A lot of it's going to be solar power. There's a huge outfit in Texas that essentially that's their whole main focus right now is they're trying to install solar power on their big warehouses that they have with all the miners. But yeah, it is frustrating because if you do look at the actual stats, the amount of renewable resources that are mining Bitcoin at this point, it is substantial. Now, is China mining it with coal? Yeah, that is
They
absolutely.
don't give a damn.
Well, it's not that they don't give a damn, but they are doing they are doing mining like on renewable resources, but
Yeah.
at the same time, the big operations with Bitcoin, like the number, I want to say 1 through 3 operations for mining Bitcoin in China, they are all in industrial areas where there is no option but coal power, so they can mine. So there is no other alternative in the area. So it's partially China's fault, one, but and then also the owners, if you kind of want to be backhanded and say that it could be China also, uh, it it's them, prohibiting the mining possibilities of being on a renewable resource. So they have initiatives in place, and they're trying to get it at by 2030, all mining operations or a majority of the mining operations to be on a renewable resource. But by that point, I think that a lot of the hash rate for Bitcoin itself will be in the United States or around the world.
So they're prohibiting renewable energy for mining?
Yeah, so they're only allowing these miners, these big operation outfits, to be in industrial areas.
Why?
So China in their control, dude. I mean, that's really the
Those
bottom
sons
line.
of bitches.
Yeah. And so, and there's got to be an undoubtedly, and then this is a conspiracy. This is not me like actually putting, a fact or anything out there.
Let me hear it, dude.
Who knows? But with these big operations that are in China, there is without a doubt that China has to have like
slaves.
The government that not slaves, but I mean maybe
they probably do. I know they have Uyghur slaves.
Right, they got to hire one maintenance guy at least for some of these buildings. No, but I think that China has like a controlling interest, and is that a fact? You can't really prove it, but
sounds about right.
There has to be. It's just one of those things that it's a reality that is true.
So obviously we can see it on the surface. China said that they were going to ban cryptocurrencies some way or another. I don't know the details, but as soon as that happened, it dropped like 50%. So that tells me that tons and tons of that Bitcoin is being made and being used in China. You think that's right?
Not necessarily, no.
Then why did it okay, if I was looking at it, I would say, okay, the Chinese government said you cannot use Bitcoin. All the people in China, holy shit, we got to get rid of this. Boom. Everyone in China started selling all their Bitcoin. Price drops 50%.
Well, it wasn't just everybody in China, though. I mean, the world in itself started selling off the Bitcoin as possible. Anytime that
but why? Because China banned it, but they didn't ban it elsewhere. Why would everybody else sell their Bitcoin just because China banned it?
Oh, the same reason.
What I mean?
Yeah, the same reason that investors or people who bought Bitcoin sold, because Elon Musk said there wasn't enough renewable resources mining it. I mean, essentially the hype brought it back down. So the negative hype, I should say, brought Bitcoin back down. It's not necessarily that Bitcoin is trying to ban mining and things like that, because in reality, they're not. The operations that are out there that are large at scale miners, big warehouses, factory buildings, just full of networked ASIC machines, just mining continuously all sorts of different coins, they're still there and they're still doing it. Now, China is trying to get their own digital currency on-ramped at this point.
The government is?
Yes, China government.
Oh, shit.
I know. They are not saying that it's a cryptocurrency. They're actually trying to avoid that in its entirety.
Shit.
I know. I know. But essentially, the digital currency should really only be accessible through China in itself, other than maybe if they put it on the actual stock exchange that would be in China.
I don't think they're going to let us have it.
Well, yeah, but unless we trade, we actually buy it. Like, we can buy yen through the stock exchange and watch it go up and down in value through a regular stock exchange, even the New York Stock Exchange. We can do that. So what I think is because they have this initiative, they are putting FUD out there with, saying ban this, ban that. We're imposing sanctions of trying to get this on a renewable resource, or we got to shut these down within the next few years, yada yada yada. And since that is negative FUD in the marketplace, cryptocurrency is like the popular kid in school right now. And when something's positive, everybody's clamoring around this popular kid, and they're the greatest, and he's Johnny Football, and blah blah blah. But when all of a sudden a scandal comes out, Johnny Football did something horrible to one of the team cheerleader chicks. Everybody is gone,
Yeah.
ghosted.
Yeah, Me Too his ass. They Me Too Bitcoin.
Exactly. So essentially, the market just decided it was time to move their currency out of Bitcoin and into either something else or something more stable until things kind of got stable again with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has become something that wasn't really intended to be, and that's called a store of value coin. Bitcoin was meant to be traded between people and kind of not really be at the prices that it is anyways. But there are a lot of whales that currently hold Bitcoin. And if you look at the very top, at least let's say 10 wallets, those are very high up people or organizations that you're not going to see Bitcoin, drop down to nothing ever again. So Bitcoin will come back, and it'll come back even stronger.
So when you say look at the 10 top wallets, can you actually see that?
Yeah. So if you go on to the actual blockchain, I can't remember the site now, but essentially you can type in Bitcoin blockchain, or you can go to bitcoin.com or bitcoin.org, and they can, and it'll direct you to where you can see essentially the blockchain and who holds the most and what.
Does it tell you who?
It doesn't tell you specifically who, but you can definitely kind of look around. Like, so Elon
Does
Musk.
it say how much they have? Does it say like wallet number 1, 50 million Bitcoin or something like that?
It does.
Really?
It does say
Oh,
that.
shit.
So it does give the Bitcoin wallet address, right? And then it also does tell you how much is there. And that's how you can tell that they're a whale.
Yeah.
And essentially, if you can put your tinfoil hat on,
Hell
and
yeah.
you start to connect dots, you can kind of get an idea of who it actually might be.
Who is the biggest whale?
Or what company.
Who is the biggest? Bill Gates, that son of a bitch. He did it again.
Maybe. I don't know.
Everything.
That's a good question. But you can definitely tell, like, if you follow the history, you can tell where Elon Musk is, at least his company.
Really?
Yeah, you can definitely see exactly, where it is, which wallet it holds, and things like that. For all we know, it could be the creator of Bitcoin in its entirety, as the major holder. We don't know.
So, do you think that our government? You do live in America, right?
Yep.
Do you think our government has Bitcoin?
Yes, they have holdings.
Really?
Yeah. There is a big conspiracy with Tether. That's there.
What's Tether? Just for the listeners, and I forgot. I've heard that before, but I don't remember what it is.
It's basically a token.
Okay.
It wouldn't be necessarily considered a cryptocurrency coin, but it is a cryptocurrency token because it is a cryptocurrency that was built off of another cryptocurrency. And it's a stable coin. It wasn't at once, but essentially the government got involved with it and became a stable coin. The U.S. government, that is. There was a scandal around it, and with that scandal, there's a lot of conspiracies that the government invested and got into that specific currency so they could get into the actual cryptocurrency market.
Is cryptocurrency a threat to the Federal Reserve?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
Really?
I don't personally believe it is.
You don't think that it could be the money of the future, and it could be like the petrodollar, where we could freaking go all out war, possibly? Because you know how, I mean, we have to trade in petrodollars, which is the U.S. dollar globally. What if because you know how we freaking killed Saddam Hussein. I mean, he was trying to get off the petrodollar, and so Hillary Clinton sent her little freaking minions over there and killed his ass and destabilized the whole damn country, and all chaos and hell broke loose over there.
It
But
wasn't just him too. It was another. I can't remember who it was, but it was him, Saddam Hussein, and I think Gaddafi or something.
Gaddafi,
Yeah, I think it was him too that they did that too.
they
Uh,
killed their ass.
so my opinion, the dollar is supposed to be stable, right? For the most part, it obviously is, and it goes up and down, and we have trillions of dollars of
They're
debt.
printing the shit like
Yeah,
crazy.
but essentially, it's supposed to be a stable form of currency. Now they already have a coin that's already created cryptocurrency wise that's called USD and USDC, United
What do you
States dollar
mean?
coin.
Oh shit!
Not,
When did
it's
that
not
happen?
well, the government didn't make it. It's just a coin that was out there. Now,
Oh,
can the government, obtain controlling interest to keep it? Yeah, sure, that can happen. I mean, anything can happen. Uh, but there's a coin out there that essentially is pegged to the US dollar. So the fact that there's a coin that's pegged to now the US dollar and only fluctuates, a
no.
penny higher or a penny lower than a dollar, then at that point, I mean, the government is kind of not the government, the currency itself is already kind of incorporated into what cryptocurrency is. Now, is cryptocurrency the future of monetary transactions? Absolutely. And if you look at, the 1800s when banks were supplying their own notes to people, and there were 18 million different notes across the entire country of the United States and the world. And then at some point it became to, hey, we got to centralize that into what we call the US dollar. That is going to happen again. So
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm asking. Are we going to be switching from dollar bills to absolutely no dollar bills whatsoever, all digital money?
in the future, yes. But is it going
Damn.
to be
How
in our
long?
lifetime? I don't think so.
No? I don't know, man. It's moving pretty fast.
It is. It is moving at light speed and beyond that when it comes to what's going on in the cryptocurrency market and currency in general. But I don't see the big banks letting go as easily
Yeah.
uh, as what happened back in the 1800s with like notes and things like that.
So my perspective would be the Federal Reserve says, you know what, this crypto thing's getting out of control. People are trading in this stuff. If Bitcoin gets so good to where I can go into Stripes and buy a bag of chips with Bitcoin, then I think the Federal Reserve is gonna. That's where the line gets drawn.
Yeah.
I would think.
So my personal opinion is Bitcoin. You can already do that, by the way. So
What?
you can go. There are a lot of outfits that they accept cards from different exchanges, cryptocurrency wise, to where you can actually utilize crypto to buy things. I actually I
Everyday
had to
needs.
buy. Yeah, I had to buy some new fans for one of my ASIC miners just recently, and I used cryptocurrency to buy that. So, and that was off of Amazon.
What?
I just did it through a debit card that was supplied by a cryptocurrency exchange. So,
Whoa.
yeah. So to get back to like where you were kind of going with that though, uh, with the government getting involved in cryptocurrency, the only way that they can utilize it with the way that we kind of use currency, like the US dollar right now, uh, they can buy a ton of it like they do with Fort Knox. They have a bunch of gold, right? They can buy a ton of Bitcoin, but essentially they're never going to have complete control over it. Like it's just not going to happen.
So recently, this is what they're telling us, that a couple of hackers hacked the pipeline and shut it down for the gas, right? You remember hearing about this
Yeah.
recently?
Yep.
And I was told that they had their ransom paid in Bitcoin. Is that true?
I
I
have
think
not
that's the
heard that.
smartest damn thing they could have possibly done,
I
right?
don't, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
What is it, being smart, or did it happen?
I don't know if it happened, but
Okay, I think it's out in the open that they said it happened.
okay.
but I need to do more research into that.
It being smart though, I that's where I disagree, because when it comes to cryptocurrency,
Mhm.
most of these coins are on what they call a blockchain, and that blockchain shows transaction history. So unless they were able to acquire that Bitcoin right into a wallet that then sent it off into 50 million different places, and it was just impossible to track all of those, then at that point it might be smart. But for the most part, if you see it go into one wallet on the blockchain, you will be able to kind of correlate where the next move went, and continually follow that until they get to a point of, I
Like a
know where.
paper trail.
Yeah, that's the
Hmm.
one thing. That's the biggest argument when it comes to like the government saying that there's so much fraud in cryptocurrency, because if there's a blockchain involved, we know where it is. We know where the currency is. We know what wallet it's at, how much that wallet holds, and we know when the last time that wallet was used.
So but we don't know whose is it, right?
For the most part, yes, that is very true. Now, then that's the thing with the whales of Bitcoin or any other big cryptocurrency. But it's eventually you give someone a tinfoil hat, they'll be able to get you in the right direction to figure out who it is. Like it for the longest time, the creator of Ethereum, Vitalik, I can't pronounce his last name. He No one knew which wallet was his. Like
Mm.
when he started it, and then he started getting popular, and Ethereum started to take its shape into actually being Ethereum and its blockchain. No one knew, but then eventually it was figured out, and they
Okay.
found out, okay, well, this is um, Vitalik's wallet, and now like a lot of these new altcoins, essentially coins that are not actually coins or tokens, they like there's been like a big fiasco. Like they're sending coins into his wallet to hold, because they think, oh well, it's the creator of Ethereum, like he's going to be a safeguard, and he turned around and basically gave him the middle finger and started donating to other organizations, things like that. But yeah, I mean, you can find who owns the wallet essentially. At the end of the day, if there's a will, there's a way.
I thought that was the whole thing about Bitcoin, that it's like super secret. Like like drug dealers can use it. They can use it for black market transactions. You know, that type of deal.
Yeah, you can use Bitcoin for everything. That includes black market
It
transactions.
just depends if the government starts snooping around, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
like I said, if there's a will, there's a way. They'll be able to get found. Now, I'll be honest with you. Like it is a better solution when it comes to not involving a third party like a bank,
Mm-hmm.
because at that point they're not holding my funds. Now, you can move $10,000 in cryptocurrency without being questioned, as long as you don't do it through an exchange. So,
What do you mean, like a stock market,
I know, well, like,
wallet to wallet?
yeah, wallet to wallet. So
Mm.
as long as you're not doing it through an exchange, they might start asking questions. They're not legally allowed to. There's no regulation saying you can't do that kind of money, but because like an exchange like Coinbase, they're subject to different rules in the game, and they're gonna start asking questions when you start moving big sums of money like that around.
Mm. So back to the China thing. That China scares the shit out of me. I think they're gonna freaking take over America. Um, you said okay, so they're banning it, right? They're banning Bitcoin. They're also involved in getting their own coin. China already has massive control over their people. I'm pretty sure that they're just gonna be like, you know what, screw the yen. We're gonna do all digital currency. We're gonna track everybody even more, and we can control all the damn money. Is that possible?
Their money, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like China, centralized China, they instead of the yen, they'll just have like some government.
But yeah, I mean, they're already in the, like I was saying earlier, they have that digital currency that they're trying to on ramp right now, and yeah, I can totally see them grasping at the straws that they have left for control, and essentially, tracking people, or limiting, or anything like that when it comes to using digital currency.
Do you think they're going to tie that into the Chinese social credit score?
That's a good question. Um,
You
in
know what
some
I
ways,
mean? Like
if
they're
you
like,
could
oh,
buy,
we're not gonna give you money to eat today because you're a bad citizen. That type of deal.
if you can buy a car and actually use equity or some type of lending platform, they don't really lend or borrow money in other countries like we do. So it's if you can borrow money from it, yes, I can see that happening.
What do you mean they don't borrow money? China, I know.
So a lot of different countries don't utilize cash like we do. So we earn $1 and then we spend it 8 different ways, right? Uh, a lot of different countries, the UK, they're a big proponent of this as well. China is one of them. Japan. If they don't have the money, they don't live outside their means for the most part.
How do you buy a house?
Cash.
What?
Yeah, I
What do
mean
you?
they do. There's mortgage lending and things like that. Like you can, but I mean, if you look at the current market between ours versus them,
Mhm.
if you, especially in the market that we're in right now, I mean, there are companies in Norway currently that are actually giving negative interest rates for a mortgage. Like they're paying people to take a 10-year.
What?
Yeah, that's a
I
real
wish they
thing.
would do that here. I'm getting completely fucked on my mortgage. I mean, I look at my monthly mortgage says you've paid $100 to your principal, $500 in interest, and $500 in taxes. I'm like, son of a bitch. No wonder it takes 60 years to pay off a house, man. It's
Right?
insanity. They're raping me bad. They say, okay, Elijah, we know you don't have 100 grand. So we're going to lend you 100 grand and you're going to give us 300 grand. Okay. Thank you. Here we go. Right. That's not right, man. That pisses me off. Every time I see it, it pisses me off. It's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, the only people that can really afford to pay cash in America is essentially like millionaires and things like that, because just values are skyrocketing and houses are becoming to the point of affordability levels and trying to figure out if you can even afford a house. It's crazy.
I know. It pisses me off, man. And it's weird because why aren't cars like that? They don't do that with cars. Like you can pay off a $25,000 truck in 6 years. You don't have to pay like a stupid amount of interest. I don't know, man. It makes me mad. The Federal
Yeah,
Reserve
but
makes me mad. Taxes
if you
make me
think,
mad.
yeah, it's same here. If you think about it though, the vehicles like they are priced extremely high
True.
where we're at. Like, I mean, if you think about it, when we were kids, our
Hmm.
parents could actually buy a similar vehicle, actually a vehicle that is more reliable and less technology driven. And, you're talking thousands less
Oh
than,
yeah.
in most cases, maybe even half of that versus what we pay today for a brand new car. It's crazy.
Oh, you're right. That's what it is. They jack. I was like, man, that's weird how you can pay less. That's what they do. They jack up the freaking price on the truck. They're getting their money. They're getting
Yeah.
it somehow. And then no wonder, because I remember when I was like, I don't know, 10, I would see a badass truck for like 20 grand. Now
Easy.
it's freaking 60 grand, 70 grand for a badass truck.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. So are we just gonna end up being complete slaves and you know, I guess we are slaves already, are we?
I mean, if you're part of the system, essentially, yeah. I mean, you're doing your routine of everything. The only way to not really, feed into that and be a slave is just you got to do your own thing, and you got to get rid of a 9 to 5 if you're in one.
Are you in a 9 to 5?
I am not. Nope.
What?
Yeah. So I've
All right.
I've been able to essentially find a way. I've dabbled, in almost everything: real estate, um, cryptocurrency currently and things like that. I've tried everything essentially when it comes to multi-level marketing and all of that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cryptocurrency right now is paying the bills, so
Really?
that's where we need to be. And well, it's not just cryptocurrency. Podcasting also is paying the bills, but it's essentially a combination of things. Just trying to stay away from that atmosphere.
How long have you been podcasting?
Um, this October will be 3 years.
When you first started off, I'm sure you made $0, right?
Yeah. No,
Is it worth keep going? Because I'm at about 20 episodes and I'm like, man, I'm not making $0. I'm making $0. Should I keep going? I mean, it's fun. I
uh-huh.
enjoy talking to people. I'm learning a lot, but I'm also spending a lot. And
Well,
it would be nice to get a couple bucks, to pay the dues and whatnot, Should I keep going, Mark?
if you enjoy it, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not enjoy it, you got to have that conversation with yourself. So if you
Yeah.
are having fun and enjoying the ride,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Now, one thing that I heard from a podcast mentor, if you want to call them
Mm-hmm.
that, it is very easy to create a podcast, but it
Right.
is very difficult to create a good podcast. So that's just one of those things that you're going to have growing pains, and,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually it will happen. Don't think that you need a huge audience size. Don't think that you need to have X amount of episodes in there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Essentially, my suggestion would be engage with your audience, make them feel like you guys are a part of a family.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can then approach either sponsors or even do affiliate marketing, uh, at that point, you'll see, you can tell them, like, look how engaged my audience is to me. Even though there are 100 of them, 99 of them will buy whatever I tell them to. And if you can tell that to any type of sponsor or marketing company that would give you a product to shill, then at that point you're going in the right direction.
Cool, man. Maybe we could talk about that off air. You can give me some pointers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a couple more questions for you, Mark. We're a little bit past the hour. Are you a conspiracy theorist?
I love conspiracies.
Great. So that's kind of what started this show, man. I listen to a lot of people like Alex Jones and Sam Tripoli, all those cool big names, that in a way, a lot of it is like truth. If you ask me,
Yeah.
conspiracy is a dirty word. I think it's used by the stupid media to like, oh, they're just conspiracy theorists, even though they're like completely full of shit, like 100%, like CNN
Yeah.
and all that crap. Um, is the earth flat, Mark?
It's funny. We have a running skit on our show where we kind of talk about is the earth flat, or if you want to entertain that idea.
Yeah.
uh, do I think that it's flat? No, I don't think it's flat. uh, do I like to joke around and play into the conspiracy? Absolutely.
You need to check out my other podcast to do with David Weiss. That dude's convincing. He, he is very convincing, man. He had a whole display, man. He had a green screen. I would ask him a question and he'd pull it up on the green screen. I'm like, damn, dude, you're flat earthing my ass, Uh,
I'm a
it's
believer. I'm a believer.
yeah.
I
He's
would
like,
I would love to have the conversation with somebody on trying to convince me and my co-host um,
yes,
that flat Earth theory is an actual thing.
David Weiss, man. Uh, Try to get that guy. He's out there. He's on Buzzsprout. You can find him.
Okay.
He is. He's badass at that. Um, so are there lizard people underground
Mm,
and human animal hybrids from another dimension?
I think Bigfoot is something that can be real.
Yeah.
I really do. Lizard people, maybe at one time in the history of Earth, but not now. And
Nephilims.
yeah, and if it is, it's some kind of skin condition that essentially could be cured with modern medicine, if there is something along those lines. Now, I read this book. I shouldn't say read. I listened to this book
Yep.
a while ago, called The Adventures of Baron von Trump. And
Ooh.
this book is very, I don't want to say convincing, but it does give a compelling argument that there are a few possibilities of reality of on under Earth. The book itself was written a very long time ago, before the current Trumps were around. However, the artist rendering of the child that is Baron von Trump, when it was drawn in the 1800s, looks almost identical to the Trump child that we have currently.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude.
They talk about a lot of different things when starting to descend down into the tunnels that we think that are in the earth, possibly, the conspiracy of it.
He talks about it in the book.
And yes, and there are a lot of landmarks in the book that I don't necessarily know that they were really known until more recently of the last couple hundred years. It's kind of eye-opening, even though it is a fictional tale, supposedly.
So is it about Middle Earth? Maybe underground tunnels, kind of?
Underground tunnels, underground civilizations,
Yeah.
the adventures of a child roaming around where he shouldn't be, things like that. Yeah.
I heard about that. They think he might be a damn time traveler. Trump's
Maybe.
son.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's where that theory came from. That's how I stumbled across the actual book.
Holy crap.
It's crazy.
Is the book good?
Yeah, it is amazing. I really like the book. Like, it's not a very long, it doesn't occupy a lot of your time. And if you prefer to listen to books versus actually read them like I do, it's
me too.
something you could just have in the background. And again, like I said, it's very eye-opening. You're like, wait a second, that's a real thing. And it's then you start to kind of just, feed into it a little bit and do a little bit of research, and you see the conspiracy. Maybe this kid is a time traveler.
Damn. That's crazy, man. Have you seen 12 Monkeys?
I have, yeah.
Where he tries to stop the virus?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know. There might be some damn Do you think time traveling is real? Is possible?
Possible, yes. I think that can be a reality. However, my theory with time travel is that you can go back, but you can't go forward. Like, you can't go beyond the time where you're at. Like, so if you discovered a machine today, right? Today is your limit. You can go back, but you can't go because it hasn't happened yet. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that kind of makes sense, actually. Like, theoretically, you could probably go back because that stuff's already happened. So you could probably travel back and then live your life up to now, but you can't go into the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I didn't never thought about that. That's actually possible, probably. Have you seen that movie? Have you seen the Stephen King show 1963 or something like that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Great, dude. It's freaking great. It's about a guy, he finds a time travel hole and he tries to stop the assassination of JFK.
Okay.
It was a Stephen King. I think it's called The Day He Got Shot was like 11/23/66 or something like that. You might want to check that out, dude. It's really freaking good. And it's about that. He travels back in time, but he decides to live his life in the past.
What platform is it on?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
Or it was last time I checked. It's really freaking good. Mark, thank you for being on my show, man. This is a lot of fun.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Actually, you brought up Alex Jones. My co-host is a very good impression of him. If you'd like, I can actually forward over a little intro that we did a while back. And maybe if you want to throw it into the show or not, it's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah? Hell yeah. I can do pretty good at it. Well, not that great. But,
Let's hear it.
It's like, okay, just imagine you're Donald Trump, right? You're like the most important guest I've ever had. Hold on, Donald Trump. We got to go to break. You notice how he like cuts off like the most important people, like no matter what, like he's got to sell his products. But I get it. He's got his own pirate ship. He's not beholden to pharmaceutical companies, cable companies. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he sells his own stuff, and I get that. Alex Jones is awesome, man. I like him. He kind of inspired me to do this in a tinfoil hat, and I just wanted to go deep and just talk to cool people and learn a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. No, podcasting is great. I love podcasting. I honestly wish I could do more of it and all the time. So again, thank you for having me on so we could do this.
For sure, Mark. Let everybody know where they can find you.
So you can find my podcast, Amigos PC, at amigospc.net. We are on social media everywhere, Amigos PC. We drop an episode once a week. The day varies, but we do talk about cryptocurrency with cryptocurrency enthusiasts, YouTubers. We talk to people that are in the cinema industry, actors. We recently had Kevin L. Johnson on from Ozarks. And we talk to people in comedy where I don't want to say we're huge, but we do dive and support a lot of the comedians here in the Phoenix Valley area where we're based out of.
Which guy is that from the Ozarks?
So Kevin L. Johnson is have you seen the most recent season?
Yes, it was a while back.
Okay. So he's the one that's continuously gambling on their boat.
I don't remember because I was watching it with my girlfriend and she like started watching all of them and I missed a lot of it. So that pissed me off. Yeah, I need to rewatch it.
So, you remember in the first season there was a realtor that the wife met?
That was so long ago, dude.
He did real estate with his mom. Yeah, it's
my
hard.
brain shot, dude.
Well, one last tip: he married a stripper on the show.
I'm definitely gonna go back and check that out. Right. Again, man, thank you, Mark, so much for being on the show. This was fun. I learned a lot about crypto today. China's probably gonna take over the world. It sounds like maybe.
I doubt it.
All right, Mark. Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks, man.